Hugh Bigod dismounted to examine the wolf he had just killed, and wiped his spear in the tawny winter grass. Silver-grey fur ruffled in the wind. Her fangs were bared in a bloody snarl, and even in death her amber eyes were baleful. She would have bred pups this year, but her swollen belly was not the result of fecundity, but of having gorged on the heavily pregnant ewe she and her mate had brought down the previous day. Wolves were a constant problem at lambing time, slinking round the sheepfolds, grey as twilight, waiting their moment. The shepherds and their dogs kept close watch, but they could not be everywhere at once, and even when the flocks were brought in close to the homestead, there were still casualties. Pellets of icy rain drove slantwise into his face, and he turned his head away from the wind. Although his fingers were encased in mittens, his hands were numb. It was a frozen, hungry time of year, the dregs of winter hanging on, even though the dawns arrived earlier, and the light was slower to leave the sky at night. "I can have a wolfskin rug for my bedside now," said his 13-year-old brother Ralph, a gleam in his dark grey eyes. Hugh smiled. "With a sheepskin the other side for balance, and to remind you why we hunt wolves in the first place." "I don't know why you want a wolf pelt anywhere near you. They stink," said William. At almost 15, he was the closest of the brothers in age to Hugh. "Not if they're properly tanned and aired," Ralph argued. William shook his head. "The only good place for a wolf is a midden pit." Accustomed to their verbal sparring, Hugh took little notice. It meant nothing. They squabbled cheerfully among themselves, sometimes even came to blows, but the rancour never lasted, and they were always united against a common foe. Hugh remounted Arrow. The mare was so named because of her ability to fly into a fast gallop from a standing start. She could outrun any wolf, and she was his pride and joy.